I think there is a great deal of effort and energy extended and invested in leadership development. I mean, there's all types of content that's been created around that subject. There are programs and labs that exist to help cultivate the leadership gifts that some of us possess. But I think there is an area of development specifically in the church setting that's a bit neglected, and it is incredibly essential. And that is ministerial development. Because when you talk about what it means to be a minister, that word is translated servant in the New Testament, and it is also translated herald in the New Testament, one who speaks on behalf of another. When you talk about a minister, you're talking about someone who has a degree and a dimension of responsibility that every leader does not have, even if you're only talking about the church context. When you talk about a minister, a herald, you're talking about one who communicates, one who proclaims truth, one who interprets and communicates and explains God's word to others. And so the minister has to have a different set of eyes. He or she can't have average eyes. They must have what I call eagle eyes. Eagle can see further than the average animal. Some research that I came across suggested they could see as far as a mile away. They could see a rabbit hiding in brush a mile away. And when one has eagle eyes, you have the ability to see things in the scriptures from a mile away that others may not be able to see. I think this is what makes the preacher, the minister, necessary for each and every individual in every sector of life. I mean, people may come into the space and the place where a minister is communicating, and they have influence and they have power and they have resources. They may be more educated. They may be more articulate. They may be better leaders, but they don't have your eyes. That the degrees on the wall and the influence and the money in the bank does not empower them to open God's word and to see what you see. How do you develop that kind of eye? I think that's a part of ministerial development. How do you get the highest and best use out of the gift God has given you? Now, I don't believe that everyone is called to and capable of cross-cultural communication. That takes a different kind of fluidity to be able to do that. I think that part of it is intuitive, instinctive, just a gift from God. But I think there are parts of it that can also be developed by us. I think it's speaking missionally. How can you make the best and the widest and the greatest impact with the gift that God has given you? If God limits your gift to a certain segment of the population, then it's important to find contentment with that. But you don't want to draw a line or a boundary or set up a limitation where God has not, because you become more of a slave to style than you do to substance. What does it mean to maintain your authenticity, yet at the same time do what Paul encourages or what Paul says he did, and that is become all things to all people? What does that look like in the preaching ministry? What does it look like when you're called to a kind of ministry that is not within the bounds and the framework of the traditional historic, I stand on a platform and I speak to masses? What does it mean to be called to a Priscilla and Aquila kind of ministry, where you're called to the ministry of the word, but you're called to the ministry of the word in a way that gifting is utilized best in smaller group settings or one-on-one settings? What does it mean to be a content creator, to be called to ministry, but you're called to create content? And that's through writing and blogs and things of that nature. And how do you develop that so that you're a vessel fit for the master's use? And how do you deliver that how do you develop, and how do you deliver it? These are some of the things that we want to help walk you through at the Thrive Summit. We believe that what God has given you needs to be developed to its highest and best use, and whatever part and role we can play in that, we want to do it. I look forward to seeing you at the Thrive Summit. Take care.